This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun. No.
Y'all, just stop. This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. So excited to be here with my favorite lady, Erica Cobb.
Your favorite?
Favorite lady.
That means so much to me coming from the birthday girl.
Thank you for that. Awesome.
The big 4-0.
The big 4-0. We got Jeffrey Schroeder on there. Jeff, you have to be nice and laugh at my jokes today. How do you feel?
I am telling Sam that you said that about Erica, but yes, happy birthday, Tori. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. All right, we got some good news actually for the first time in 4 years. The Oscars will have a host. ABC confirmed the news but didn't say who it might be. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, the Academy has already reached out to Spider-Man actor Tom Holland, who back in December told the publication that he would host the show if he were asked. Jimmy Kimmel was the last person to host the Oscars back in 2018 and in 2017. And Kevin Hart famously dropped out. Did he drop out or was he kicked out? Let's be honest.
Well, he said no, he would not.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. As a host in 2019, that's fair. After some controversial tweets resurfaced, should the Oscars have a host, Jeffrey Schroeder? And who should do it? Okay, that is the craziest thing that's ever happened. I thought he was like, I'm not going to answer you. Okay, Erica Cobb, please, you go.
I'm fine with it either way. Really, when I'm watching the Oscars, I'm looking for the fashion. I'm looking for the big moments from people who I have an investment in. I'm not really so much like, oh, is it the host? I'm not really paying attention to that. However, if Tom Holland is asked to host, his co-host has to be Zendaya.
Zendaya needs to be there. They're in love. They're co-stars. She kills it every red carpet, and they're fabulous together.
They play off each other so well. Like, their relationship should be a mystery to no one.
I love it. And I love that they tried to keep it private, and I just really love how much they respect each other, how much fun they have together. Mm-hmm. I think, and I'm going to bet everyone, I'll bet everyone in the audience a lasagna, that it is going to be Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Do you know how betting works?
What does that mean?
Because you just committed to giving everyone in the audience a lasagna.
Yeah, but don't worry. It's going to be Martin Short and Steve Martin. They killed it in Only Murders in the Building. They've done it before. We need good laughs. We want to bring classic glamour back. I think these two are going to do it. Okay. Lasagna for everyone. Jeffrey, you're back. We thought you were just angry and not talking to us. Who would you pick for your host for the Oscars?
Let me just tell the audience, Tori does not pay her bets, so no lasagna for anybody.
You're on a diet. You won't accept a sandwich.
It's true, but don't make that excuse for not paying you. I wasn't last year. Anyways, let's move on to the story. Russell Brand. I would have Russell Brand. I don't think an American could host it anymore. I feel like it's become too political. Whoever you bring up there, it's going to be their political views. And then if you have this person, there's going to be some anger against them. If you take someone not from this country, I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move by the Academy.
That's Tom Holland, too. He's a Brit. Do you think Steve Martin, do you like my bet? Steve Martin, Martin Short, could you see that?
Yeah, I mean, I could say, that would be cool if they brought back Billy Crystal and those guys. I just don't know the audience today if they have that palate for them now. I don't know.
Maybe it's because I'm 40. Like, I was like, bring on the old people. All right, good.
Okay.
So,
well, some of us have already been 40, so you speak for yourself, girl.
I'll speak for just me, and I still think Jeff's now frozen again. All right, Gina Davis is sounding off. No, you're kidding. About ageism in Hollywood. Speaking on a podcast, Gina said she was once passed over for a role because the leading man in the film said she was too old to play his love interest, even though she was 20 years younger than him. Listen.
You know what it is? Women peak in their 20s and 30s, and men peak in their 40s and 50s, as far as actors go. And so the male stars of the movies want to seem to appear younger than they are, or want to, appeal to younger people. And so they always want a co-star who's really young.
Gina Davis isn't alone. Sandra Bullock, who's 57, recently told The Hollywood Reporter that if it weren't for Netflix, she would have been out in the cow pasture by now. So Sandra starred in Bird Box that was on Netflix in 2018 and is currently starring in the movie The Unforgivable about an ex-con re-entering society. And that is also, I believe, on Netflix, which is what she's saying. What do you think about this, Erica? Do these women have a point, or have we actually progressed?
They have a point, and we've progressed. I think it was interesting when Gina Davis made the comment about older men want a younger love interest because it makes them appear younger. No, homie, it makes you appear like an older man who has a younger love interest. And I think we're just getting more honest about the conversation. I mean, women have always been able to kind of play a little bit more of a mature role because there's a lot of things that you kind of can do with women. Men, if they don't look distinguished at a certain age, eventually they're going to, but it's not as though they look younger, they just look like more distinguished.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
I don't understand. I understand this conversation, but I think we're just being a little bit more honest about it.
I think so too. What do you think? Do you think that's true for women? I mean, I do think at 40, Jeff, someone in my position in the industry thought that was it. Like, if you don't make it by 40, dude, like, I thought I was going into the burning embers of hell. Like, honestly, that's how much they kind of say, like, no one wants you if you're a woman and you're 40 in Hollywood. Am I right?
I don't know, Tori. You guys have to tell me. I can't speak for you guys, but look, you're two women on a show with an older man. There you go. We're progress, right?
And you're that's funny.
I think it's just, I don't think people are grateful enough, and I'm not saying that's what the case is here, for men and women. To have a career that goes 40, 50, 60 years, to have a Betty White career, that's not just every woman that appeared in the film Speed. This is a career, I mean, this is unbelievable, the career that Betty White has had. And if you put a career like that, men or women, that's impressive. So to have a career with longevity in this business alone is impressive, but I understand how it might be a little bit different for women. So I do see that point.
Well, to your point about Betty White, too, Betty White has been someone who has always played by her own rules. Like, she would do so unapologetically. But also, think about how roles have changed.
I was going to say,
you don't have to be a sex symbol or have to be the young, hot thing in order to have a successful career anymore. Like, there's longevity in playing it the Betty way, and I think that there's more opportunities to play it the Betty way.
I do too. I think writers have created more spaces for women who have actual interesting roles instead of being like, I'm an old grandma. But I will also say this, how crazy is this? Sex and the City characters are supposed to be, I think, older, 3 years, than the Golden Girls were in their first season. So I do think we've progressed to where that's much more normal to see fashionable, sexy, interesting women, and you know what I mean?
It's also a sign of the trends,
right?
Women, 50-year-old women look a lot different today than they did, 40, 30 years ago, that's 20 true. Years, 10 years ago.
That's true. Blanche always looked good. Coming up on DBL, saying no to paying it forward. We'll explain the dilemma one guy had to deal with in a drive-through and why it's dividing the internet. Plus, Oprah kicks off her New Year's goal by throwing out cake. Are you doing the same or doing away with diet culture?
No, Oprah, no.
Save the cake.
Closed captioning provided by
Yes. So we're talking about ageism, basically, in Hollywood. And the thing about when we say it in Hollywood or in the industry is if it's some kind of separate universe. That is how pop culture is created. So if we're seeing it in mainstream media, in Hollywood, then those ideologies trickle down into everyday people. Yeah. So it does have an influence for sure. But when you think about let's say a 7-year-old 20 years ago, there were social norms and rules and mores that dictated them not being able to dress a certain way or to act a certain way. And now a 70-year-old, you may not even know because it's not, those indicators aren't even the same.
They're not the same. You're right. I don't know. The indicators are not the same. I think it's so weird that the Golden Girls were supposed to be 53.
in the first season.
Really?
Yes. They say it like 4 times in the first season, and Sex and the City girls say all the time, I'm at 55, I'm 55, it's 55. But look at what society allows for an older woman. Like, B. Arthur looked dramatically older than like Charlotte or Carrie, because I think women are allowed to be seen as more sexual and more interesting and more, they aren't a different class at like 50. So I really appreciate what you said, because it's like the standards have risen into different ways. And remember, Samantha Jones was a Blanche. Blanche was a sexy old single woman, and everyone's like, who is this? That was crazy. Samantha Jones directly comes from Blanche being sexually open at an older age for a single woman. So hands off to Golden Girls.
But look at the beauty industry too. I mean, the beauty industry, it's interesting because that could take a 16-year-old and make her look 30, but it could also take a 70-year-old and make her look 50.
Yeah, and 70-year-olds are like the models now. You know, Elon Musk is a model for L'Oreal. That's what I meant. Did I just say
Welcome back to DBL. Let's talk about those New Year, New You resolutions, because it turns out my birthday is right around the time, January 12th, when most people give up on their diet or fitness goals. So one study says the 19th is the day actually most people quit, but not Oprah. She's just kicking off her own reset for 2022. Take a look.
Clearing out the fridge, no chance of one last piece of Gail's delicious Bananas Foster birthday cake. And I know a lot of you are also ready for a reset. Let today be our day one, okay? Goodbye, Bananas Foster cake.
That is horrifying.
You see how she delayed it, though.
She was like holding on a little too long. I know. So how are you doing on your goals if you decided to do your own reset? Jeff, you're really into goals, writing them down, and you're really good at keeping them. Talk to us about where you are in your goal setting.
First of all, I would have ate that whole cake before I started my diet. That's my first. I never throw away food. I never throw away food. That's my first goal for everyone out there. But I've been doing pretty good. I hate following cliches. In sober October, anything that rhymes, I'm really not into. But I am doing I'm doing dry January. That rhymes as well. So haven't drank all January. Not going to. I do a little drink that I make every morning with apple cider vinegar and lemon. That's the first thing I drink in the morning. And I started yoga. I signed up for a yoga studio, and those are the 3 main ones. I obviously have 100 other ones, but those are the ones that I practice on a daily.
That's really good. Erica, what are your habits and how do you keep them?
Well, when we're talking about habits, I think you should be very clear. Are we talking about the good habits or the bad habits? Because I have no problems keeping up with the bad habits, okay? Yeah, I am a person who does not do the New Year, New You. Like, my year could start in May as far as I'm concerned. But also, I don't extend myself a ton of grace, and therefore it's far more detrimental for me to be like, okay, well, I'm going to drink this much water and I'm going to do exercise this much. I have had a routine for the past 3 years that's been very consistent in terms of like, I go and do this particular exercise these 2 days a week, and then I do this exercise these 2 days a week. And some months I'm on every single day, and some months it wavers. But I give myself the grace to come back. And if I say, this is what I have to do for the next 30 days, the minute that I fall off, I'm so hard on myself that it creates a problem.
Yeah, self-compassion. That's what I'm trying to do. All around unconditional friendship with myself. Really, that's really hard. It's easier to say than do. All right, speaking of healthy habits, Reese Witherspoon has some advice she's sharing on Instagram. Take a little looky at Reese.
So if you're doing something that's 1% better for you every single day, you're going to get 1% better every day. If you're doing something that's 1% worse for you every day, you're going to get worse every day.
So here's Reese's list of healthy habits. First up, start the day with a big glass of water. Get 10 minutes of outdoor light, and then spend 30 to 60 minutes reading without distraction every day. Finally, be in bed by 10 p.m., no late night TV binges, and try to get 8 hours of rest. But not everyone is a fan. So this is the barefoot Contessa. She's a great chef, good cookbooks. Her name's Ina Garten, and she responded to Reese saying, "That sounds great, but I'm probably not doing any of those things." She then shared her own formula. First, drink more large Cosmos. Next, stay up late watching addictive streaming series. Stay in bed in the morning playing Sudoku instead of reading a good book. And finally, spend more time safely with people you love. So, whose side are we on? Are you barefoot contestant Jeff, or are you Reese doing it like straight and narrow?
I think you got to have a little of both, right? Everyone's goals, whatever you just heard on the show, are different. They're going to be personal to your own life. Make some that are attainable every day, whether it starts with making your bed, and make some that you have to work for. That's going to test you a little bit. But also treat yourself along the way. Pat yourself on the back for your achievements that you accomplished along the way. So I think there's a little room for everybody in here, but you got to make it personal to yourself, and you got to be honest with yourself.
That's such a good call. Go ahead, Eric.
Yes, making it personal is the key. I mean, I'm not making big goals about what I'm going to look like, but I am certainly making big goals about what I'm going to do. And sometimes that has to take a backseat. You have to prioritize those things. So for me, it's not necessarily like drinking water. It's like making sure that my appointments are set for these particular days, and I'm checking these things off the list because I know that in July I want to be at this point in my career and life. Now, I don't know what my waistline is going to be doing in July, but at this point, the priority is what my life and career is doing.
I like that priority, and I also like when I speak well. I will say this. I read a lot of The Power of the Habit, Atomic Habits, which is new, Tiny Habits I read. I really like the way they say your brain can rewire itself for new habits. So they say about 28 to 66 days will create a habit. But what I really like, what Jeff said is really clear, and what Erica said is celebrate the tiniest thing. So if you make your bed in the morning, right, that's a trigger. It's the morning, you get up, there's the trigger, make the bed. Congratulate yourself on that, because your brain is rewiring itself to realize, oh, I am a person that makes my bed. I'm a person that cares about my space and my environment. And then the next day, it's like that much easier to do that because your brain is literally making new wires.
Yeah, but if you don't be having a meltdown because your bed isn't made.
That's exactly right. Compassion is important too. That also wires the brain. A lot of wiring, coming up on DBL. A man breaks a paying it forward drive-through streak. Would you have done the same? We'll explain why he said no thanks and find out if the host would have done the same.
Every 10 years, the U.S. Census Bureau is obligated to count the number of people living in America. The 2020 census was a year late because of the pandemic, and results were finally released last summer. But Verify viewer Brenda says she just received a survey in the mail for the American Community Survey. So let's verify. Is the American Community Survey legit? Our sources are the U.S. Census Bureau, the U.S. Code of Laws, and congressional records. The U.S. Census Bureau has its big moment every 10 years, but that doesn't mean it sits idle the rest of the time. Let's go back for a minute. In 1940, the Census Bureau began asking more detailed questions beyond general demographics. This data proved popular with legislators and businesses, and so the number of questions grew. Eventually, this became known as the long-form census, but this was more time-consuming, and the Bureau found many people opted to just not fill it out. Lawmakers and the Bureau debated how to balance accurate data and timeliness for decades. Finally, in 2005, the census launched the American Community Survey. It's a monthly form sent to 1 in every 480 homes in the 50 states, D.C., and Puerto Rico. The ACS is a longer, anonymous questionnaire that gathers more in-depth data than the census, such as a household education, employment, home ownership, and income. So, it's true. The American Community Survey is legit, although, like most things, there are scammers trying to use the survey to trick you into revealing personal information. The Census Bureau says it may contact you by mail, phone, email, or text message. A field representative might even stop by your home in person if they can't reach you. The Bureau maintains a website to help people figure out if a link or letter is real. You can also contact your Census Regional Office to confirm. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. Have you ever been in line at Starbucks and then had your order paid for in advance by the person ahead of you? It's called paying it forward, but one man on TikTok wasn't having it. The man refused to pay for the bill of the car behind him. The bill was $46 because he said his drink was only $6. He ended up breaking a 23-car pay-it-forward streak. He captioned his post with, "How y'all feeling about this? Am I wrong? What would y'all have done?"
I already know what Jeff would have done.
Jeffrey, what would you have done? Please lay it on us.
Listen, I'm going to be honest here. $46 is a lot of money, okay? I love this pay it forward, get someone a coffee, someone buys me a coffee, but $46 is a lot of money. And if I ordered something worth $46, I wouldn't expect the person in front of me to pay. I would actually feel worse about myself that they did that for me. I had a long period of my life where I didn't make any money and I had to rely on my friends to pay for me, and I felt guilt along with that, right? Because I couldn't afford to pay my own way. Now that I have a little bit of money, I don't like people paying for me. I don't mind if you buy me a cup of coffee, but let me pay my own way. Let me pay for you. And if you can't afford $46, don't be shamed into thinking I have to do this. That's money for your kids or whatever. I say break the chain.
Break the chain. Fair.
Absolutely.
Eric
I agree. You got to break the chain. I mean, $46 could be the difference between you eating for the next couple of weeks or not. I mean, maybe that $6 cup of coffee or monstrosity, whatever that thing. No shade, no shade. That was a big thing. Yeah. But maybe that was like his treat. And also, that $46 tab could have been from an office that was using petty cash to pay, so it wasn't even a personal person who was making the actual payment. So I wouldn't feel any type of way about that. It's all about the spirit of giving. And if you knew that someone couldn't eat for the next week because they paid for your office coffee, how would you feel about that?
First of all, I agree completely with all of you. And second of all, I've heard from Starbucks employees, and please write us in, DM me if that's true, that paying it forward is actually really confusing for Starbucks, and that's not great. So here's the deal. In Judaism, get ready to fall asleep. No, it's called a mitzvah. M-I-T-Z-V-A-H, and it's something you're supposed to do called a good deed. And you're supposed to do good deeds and mitzvahs every day. So for this gentleman, I totally understand not doing that, but maybe you go out and you give a buck or you do something nice or you do something, a mitzvah for someone else so that that intention and that karmic seed can be burnt and can be moved on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, hey.
The mitzvah. Jeff does a mitzvah just by showing up when I'm on the air. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Help! Headlines and Reddit threads accuse two Supreme Court justices of making false claims. The claims stemmed from when the justices were hearing oral arguments over Biden's vaccine mandate for federal workers and those employed at large companies. Some news outlets reported that transcripts of the hearings quote Justice Neil Gorsuch saying hundreds of thousands of people die from the flu every year, and that Justice Sonia Sotomayor claimed 100,000 kids with COVID-19 are in serious condition. Several viewers emailed Verify requesting that we fact-check those claims. Our sources are C-SPAN's recording of the oral argument, Supreme Court transcripts, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Department of Health and Human Services, and the American Academy of Pediatrics. Here's the audio snippet from Justice Gorsuch that people are referring to.
We have flu vaccines. The flu kills, I believe, hundreds of thousands of people every year.
In the Supreme Court's original oral argument transcript, Gorsuch is quoted as saying, "We have flu vaccines. Flu kills, I believe, hundreds of thousands of people every year." However, the Supreme Court released a revised transcript a few days later. In that transcript, Gorsuch is quoted as saying, "We have flu vaccines. The flu kills, I believe, hundreds, thousands of people every year." So we can verify, no. Justice Gorsuch did not claim that hundreds of thousands of people die from the flu each year. He said hundreds, thousands. So how many people actually die from the flu each year? Well, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the highest number of flu deaths in the last 10 years was during the 2017-2018 season, with an estimated 61,000 deaths. Viewers also asked us to look into claims that Justice Sonia Sotomayor said 100,000 kids with COVID-19 are in serious condition. Take a listen.
We have over 100,000 children, which we've never had before, in serious condition, and many on ventilators.
If a patient is in serious condition, they should be hospitalized. Johns Hopkins Medicine describes a patient in serious condition as being, quote, acutely ill with vital signs that may be unstable and not within normal limits, unquote. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, there are 580,000 new child COVID-19 cases reported as of last week. However, only a small fraction of them are serious cases. An average of 830 children ages 0 to 17 were admitted to the hospital every day during the week of January 2nd to the 8th of 2022, according to the CDC. Data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services shows that as of January 10th, 2022, 4,661 children were hospitalized with suspected or laboratory-confirmed COVID-19 cases. So we can verify Justice Sotomayor's claim is false. There are not 100,000 kids with COVID-19 in the U.S. in serious condition. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Don't miss a day of DBL. Bold debates.
That's absurd. Their whole brand is sharing their luxurious lifestyle. Get off social media. I'm done with these stupid arguments.
Hot celebs, but I ain't scared of no ghosts.
That's right, Erica.
Absolutely. We're like this all the time.
Yeah.
I can tell she was feeling something.
I'm here for it.
And all the laughs.
Well, you yelled at me to kick the show off, so I won't be laughing anymore.
DBL's all new every day.
Welcome back. What you eat is a major factor when it comes to losing weight and staying fit, and we have a few simple tips on how to make healthier choices. We're chatting about them on DBL's Focus on Fitness, presented by QB. So when you're hungry, experts suggest nutrient-dense foods. Think like squirrels, nuts, fruits. Don't eat the squirrels. Think you are a squirrel and you eat nuts and fruits. They will prevent you from snacking on processed foods loaded with calories, sugar, and salt. Another tip, drink a glass of water before every meal. This not only keeps you hydrated, it helps you from overeating and helps proper digestion. QB is also a great way to get some quick exercise regardless of physical ability or age. So try their under-desk elliptical at home. Call 1-800-556-2089 or visit QB.com to learn more.
Man, Tori,
Don't
the
eat the
squirrel
squirrel.
comment
Don't
is
eat the
so on brand. So on brand. I just want to take a moment. First of all, Jeff's here. You know, the three of us, we auditioned together 4.5 years ago,
Right.
and I never would have thought that we would be here celebrating your 40th birthday based on some of the things you said on the show. So it's our girl, Tori's 40th birthday. Happy birthday, Tori.
Thank you, guys.
We hope you have the very best day.
Thank you.
So proud of you and the woman that you have become in the past 4.5 years. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. That's the best thing ever. This is so kind. Thank you,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Tori, happy birthday. It's a big one for you. I know how much it means to me, how much you've grown as a person over the last couple of years. What a pleasure it's been, and here's to 40 more, huh?
Oh, that's so lovely. And I just want to say a quick shout out to all of you who are there, all the crew that are there, and also, to be honest, to the audience, to you guys watching. I'm so grateful, and I couldn't have gotten through the last couple of years without you. So I really appreciate this. This is to knowing that aging is a privilege. I feel very honored to be able to do so. Not everyone can. So thank you, thank you, thank you. DBL's new every day. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Don't eat the squirrels. Bye.